The Akufo Addo-led NPP government in the build-up to the 2016 elections made a deluge of juicy promises which perhaps endeared them to the many who voted for the party.
It will require sacrifice, but it can be done.
Even though Nana Addo's integrity and competence have never been in doubt for many, those values were not the solutions to the fragile economy he inherited. Those values were not the power badges, crude oil and gas needed to end the worsening power crisis the country had endured for 4 years. His command over the Queen's language and power of oratory were also not the magic wand to provide jobs for the jobless and retrieve the judgment debts paid to Woyome, Waterville and a host of others. Though the Akufo Addo administration is only about 6 months into a 4-year term, there have been a number of hurdles it has had to grapple with. The NPP's election victory was followed by numerous instances of the forceful takeover of state assets and public facilities including toilets, toll booths, school feeding programs, among others, and the unlawful seizure of vehicles of members of the previous administration, which put a dent on the hitherto smooth transition process. For one, President Akufo Addo was heavily criticized when his final batch of ministerial nominations ballooned his government size to 110 ministers and their deputies. He nominated 50 deputies and 4 others to serve as ministers of state at the presidency and ministries, making his government size the highest in Ghana's 4th Republic. However, in his defense, President Akufo Addo said the unprecedented problems confronting Ghana demanded a large government. The Akufo Addo administration, upon assumption into office, fulfilled the campaign promises of cutting, abolishing and reviewing a total of 15 taxes, including import levies on spare parts and Kayaye tolls. The allowances of trainee teachers and nurses were restored, and peacekeeping allowances for military personnel have been increased from $31 to $35 per day.
Mr. Speaker, we shall abolish levies imposed on Kayaye by local authorities.
However, arguably, one of the major highlights of President Akufo Addo's 6 months in office was his perceived laxity towards handling vigilante groups, especially the ones believed to be affiliated with the ruling New Patriotic Party. The Akufo Addo-led government received a lot of flack for not being able to deal decisively with the NPP-affiliated vigilante groups, mainly the Delta and Invisible Forces that invaded sensitive government installations such as the Passport Office and Tema Port and Harbour. The unthinkable happened when Delta Force members, arraigned for attacking Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator, escaped the custody of a circuit court in Kumasi after their members stormed the courtroom in utter defiance. Though the president assured that the rule of law will work in the country without fear or favor, some members of the public were disappointed, insisting that the president must call the pro-NPP groups to order. The campaign against illegal mining was also once again pepped up during the 6 months of the Akufo Addo administration, with the media and civil society organizations demanding a more pragmatic approach from government. But government responded, indicating that it was formulating a policy to curb the menace. The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, John Peter Amewu, on 28th March also gave a 3-week ultimatum to all illegal miners to stop their activities or be prepared to face the full rigors of the law. The president himself also assured that his remarks and intent in the fight against illegal mining were not empty promises, as his administration was going to deal with galamsey. And the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo Addo, the 7th Parliament of the 4th Republic, witnessed an unusual chaos when the MP for Bawku Central, Mahama Ayariga, was charged with contempt by the ad hoc committee set up to investigate bribery allegations leveled against leadership of the appointment committee. This was not after the bribery allegations by Ayariga, as dramatic as it was met with vehement denials by Joe Osei-Wusu, Muntaka Mubarak and the Energy Minister Boachi Ejakun.
Go back and do forensic audit of boss. Why were you not doing it already?
When it spills, it kills, and when it stinks, it requires immediate investigation. That was the exact argument of the minority in Parliament when it expressed grave concerns about the alleged involvement of Boss MD Alfred Obing Boateng in the sale of contaminated fuel. The sale of contaminated fuel product to the tune of 5 million litres to a company known as Movimpina is one issue that a lot of Ghanaians want to see finality to, even as Nana Addo marks 6 months in office.
The army worms, they have destroyed all the farmers, more than 4,000 acres in this community.
The recent armyworm invasion in Ghana is also another headache that perhaps is giving this government sleepless nights as the reality of an imminent food security dawns. Even though the Akufo Addo-led government has allocated 16 million cedis to combat the destructive worm, farmers across the country are still reporting devastation while hunger faces them just at an arm's length. During the period under review, the implementation of the 3% VAT flat rate policy triggered some deep-seated controversy, with some stakeholders calling for a broader consultation.
If you are coming to sell, do not no longer invoice 17.5% and come to me for something, but invoice it with 3%. So we ask the question, the remaining 14.5%, who should bear it?
As the president meets the media for the first time since his assumption into office, Ghanaians are all ears and watching with peeled eyes for the action points and the fallout. Already, they are celebrating what they call 6 months of results.